Hey guys, so today we are going to be looking at 10 of the best categories in the game. Now, this one is kind of a tricky one to do because, you could look at a category's roster and just be like, oh, that's super easy to rank, right? But one other thing that you have to account for is, would you run, the roster for this team on a different category, a different leader skill? Would you kind of set it up in a different way so you're getting better bonuses and whatnot? So that is kind of what made this one a little bit tricky to rank because, you look at some of the wider rosters in the game, but then you look at their leaders, an example of the category we're looking at right now, and you just wouldn't, in theory, run this team with this leader skill with, obviously you guys can tell this is the joined forces category. There's a good chance you're not running any of these 5 units right here as leaders right now, so you'd be better off maybe running somebody like the GT duo or the Blue Vegito unit or Trunks of Vegeta for their category leader skills. So therefore I would say that category is better. So at number 10 I have Joined Forces. Now Joined Forces is on this list because it's just a very safe category, right? In theory, if you run the AGL Metal Cooler Movie duo, that is the worst unit on the team, right? You would have, say if you wanted to like assemble a roster right here, you could easily just do the 8th year anniversary LRs. You could do Trunks and Vegeta. You could do Blue Vegito, the LR Gods. And then you kind of come down here with like Tech Gogeta, STR Vegito. You have just some other options here, and it's just an interesting category. But overall, I would say it's kind of aged a bit. Maybe not aged a bit, but it's just in practicality, which is like, the way these units are set up is there's not a lot of like floating support, there's not a lot of utility units, it's more of just kind of like a big, beefy, powerful team that doesn't have great synergy and also does not have a great leader. So that is why I have these guys at number 10 for just the sheer amount of power on the roster. You could easily kind of mix and match a couple other categories and put them over these guys at number 10, but I felt overall that this was a safe pick for number 10. So coming in at number 9, I have the Kamehameha team. You could probably put this one over the next one that I have on the list, but I think that right now, just like when you look at the LRs, there is like a drastic cutoff after you kind of get out of like the top, like the upper echelon, right? Because it's like, obviously the only leader you can run is AGL Gohan, but you're only getting 180% leads or 180% of stats. So in 2023, when, a lot of these categories have 200% leader skills, you're 200%, you're 200%, you're 200%, you're 200%, you're 200%, you're 200%, you know what I mean? These guys are 200%. It's just 180% is not exactly a great cut right now, just because that extra 20% does make a difference, right? So, you look at all of these units here, and like you could easily just make like a crazy good team, right? So like, especially if you're on JP, right? You run like Gohan as your leader, you have Blue Vegito, you have the LR Gods, you run them as a rotation, right? Then you have like LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you find a partner for him like the LR Super Saiyan 4s. You could run Carnival Goku, either one of these Carnival Gokus really, as like a floater. I would say that this guy is more of a slot 1 unit because you want him to build up, but like in theory that this team could work, right? You have like LR God Goku, or not LR God Goku, you have Saiyan Day God Goku, you have Pat the Power Kid Goku, you have you have World Tournament Goku right here. It's like there's certainly some very, very good options here, but again, I put this one down towards the bottom because it doesn't have a true 200%, right? So overall, I'd say this category is solid, and like, look, we can look at the list, right? Like, look at how many categories are in this game right now. And saying it is the 9th or the 8th, even like any of these in the right now, saying it's like right there, like that's just goes to show you how powerful that this one is among the best. But again, what makes this category so good is the fact that it's basically timeless. Like when we get new Dokkan Fest LRs, there is a 99% chance they are going to fit within the Kamehameha category. Because like, look at this team: Dokkan Fest LR, Dokkan Fest LR, Dokkan Fest LR, Dokkan Fest LR. Carnival LR could have been a Dokkan Fest LR. It was part of the worldwide celebration, right? Dokkan Fest LR, 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 2 Dokkan Fest LRs, another Dokkan Fest LR, 2 more Dokkan Fest LRs, 2 more Dokkan Fest LRs, 2 more, right? Like, you get the point, right? It's just so many Dokkan Fest LRs are going to fit within this category that it just makes sense, right? Like, it's just always going to be good, and the leader is just the biggest hindrance on these categories. And again, what puts these guys towards the bottom of this specific list, but still makes it an elite category, is that they don't have a 200%. So let's go ahead and move on to the next list, or the next one, and that is Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Now, you could easily argue, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, this one's going below Kamehameha. So I'm making a pivot. This one is going below Kamehameha because Kamehameha just has, it's the presence of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it's the presence of the better TURs, World Tournament Goku being there. This category is better. So power beyond Super Saiyan, I'm gonna put it 9. But this team is also super good, right? You run these guys, you run Goku, you run the GT duo, or not the GT duo, the Buu duo, then the year 7 LRs and stuff like that. You could run the year 5 LR EZAs, they're cracked. You run Gohan, you could bring Kale. Kale doesn't really have as much synergy here, but you know, you get the point. You have God Goku. World Tournament Goku, I think his presence alone puts this category below Kamehameha. So yeah, I'd say this category fits in nicely because it has a lot of room for potential EZAs. You look at Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you look at the Heroes units who are getting their EZAs this year, not really going to be a huge deal. LR Rosé's on the cusp of an EZA here with the celebration. Got Goku's EZA, Gohan, you have the 7-year LRs, an 8-year LR, you have and really you can fit the GT duo on this category's leader skill because they're on Battle of Fate. So, you know, it does work, but again, just like the roster of this category is not as good as the Kamehameha one. So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so coming in at number 7, I have the Pure Saiyans. Now, again, this one, God Goku kind of bails them out from having just an atrocious group of leaders, right? You have Turles, who's impressive, but you don't really want to run him in a Pure Saiyans environment. You have Super Vegeta, who's aged. You have Raditz, haha. You have, God Goku, who's, I believe, 150 to stats. Yes, 150 to stats, but key 4, but like, it's like when you're 50% behind the curve, it's just not going to be good, right? But like, again, this roster is like the Kamehameha roster, but like even better because you have a majority of the Dokkan Fest LRs that were there in the first place. And then you also have a couple additional options, right? Like the GT duo fits on this leader skill. You have somebody like, who else do we have here? Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku fits on this category now. We go down to the TURs, we have Turles, we have Kale, we have World Tournament Goku, we have God Goku, we have, the Carnival LR Goku from up here, we have like I mentioned, Super Saiyan 4 earlier. Carnival Goku fits on this one as well. It's just, you look at all of like the rosters, this one is always going to be timeless because Pure Saiyans are literally never going to stop coming out. As long as this game's alive, we're going to be getting Pure Saiyans. This roster is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So the variety that you get on this team, as well as like the different ways that you can run it, I think automatically puts this in some of the best categories in the game. And it's just a very safe team, and that way you're really going to have like unlimited options on how you want to run this. So I think 7 is a good spot for these guys. Let's go ahead and move on to number 6. Coming in at number 6, I have the Last Resort / Final Trump Card category. Now this one is interesting because we are on the cusp of like, something that could be, not something that could be great, but we have rotations that we can run on this team with like, that could be just stupid, right? Like, let's just say we use the Buu duo as our leader, and then we float, like, our Buu duos we float off, right? And then we could just set up rotations of this Vegito with Tech Vegito, or we could run, like, this Vegito with the GT duo. We can run, just, like, you can set up different rotations. We have this Goku, the Kai Goku, and then we have a Zamasu rotation now, right? Because AGL Zamasu and Tech Zamasu can work. You just don't use the domain for LR Zamasu, right? Like, unless you're in like an absolute pinch or something like that, you don't have to use that, like the domain on this Zamasu and debuff your superclass enemies, right? Or superclass allies, right? You run this setup right here where this is a Zamasu rotation and then like a Vegito rotation, and this team can just be stupid. You have endgame options everywhere. You have standbys with the Z duo. You have the GT duo with like a revival, get out of jail free card. There is a lot of variety that this team has. You could just do a pure superclass, and then again, this one also has the Power of Wishes team, so you can get Bulma on there. There is just a lot of ways that you can run this team that are going to be efficient, and I think that overall just kind of like accounts for what makes this team so good to me. So Final Trump Card, I have at the number 6 spot. Let's move on to number 5. Coming in at number 5, I have the Movie Heroes team. Now the Movie Heroes team has a lot of good options. Now that I'm looking at it, we're gonna move them down to 6. I have Last Resort over this one, or Final Trump Card, excuse me. But this team is super well done, right? You run like the LR Gods as a leader, and then you have the Gammas rotation, you have like AGL Gogeta, you have Piccolo, who's just stupid. That Piccolo rotation is basically invincible. You have a unit like God Goku, we have Least Gohan here, we have Gogeta, Carnival Goku. And Movie Heroes, like, especially this team is gonna fall off, I think, in a little bit because we just have like, it's not as frequent with the updates, but I think this roster is super well done. And the fact that you can combine this with Power Beyond Super Saiyan just kind of leads to a very like broad and what's the word? Just like, I'm trying to think here. So it's like, it's like a very versatile team, right? Because like here's a rotation you can run: Hotshot and Kid Goku. You could run Pan with Superhero Gohan. You could run the Piccolos together, right? It's super easy to get Piccolo's entrance intro animation when you're running a setup like this, right? So I think Movie Heroes is pretty good, but honestly, yeah, I think moving this one down to 6 would be kind of like the better idea. I'm making a couple freestyles as we do this. So Movie Heroes at 6, Last Resort at 5, or I keep saying Last Resort because that's what is on the tab, but Final Trump Card at 5, and number 4, I have the Superhero Team. Now, the Superhero Team is just dumb because it is just chock full of endgame LRs that are just super, super cracked, right? You run a double Piccolo setup, you could run Beast Gohan on this team, Trunks and Vegeta, the 5-year Easy A's, you have Vegito Blue in here now, and this team is just top end, right? Like you have just some of the best units in the game all on one team. Being able to run double Piccolo and then also sliding Piccolo with the superhero team, you could easily just slide STR Piccolo in here and run that as a rotation with this guy right here. And then you just have a couple invincible rotations with that. You have the LR 5-year LRs that you could float off. You could have Trunks and Vegeta in one rotation, and you just have like a lot of slot 1 damage. You have slot 2 or slot 1 tanks. You have slot 2 damage. You just have a lot of options with this team. You could float off Vegito Blue, so the turns lapse quicker and you don't have to see him in base as much. It just works out very nicely. So in my opinion, I think Superhero is 4. I think this team is just super, super well done, and there's no reason to have them any lower. Coming in at number 3, I have the Warrior, or not the Warriors Raised on Earth, the Bond of Parent and Child team. So the Bond of Parent and Child team is like, it's if Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans had a baby, right? And technically, I mean, that's kind of how it is, right? Like, it's like like Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans on a team. Goku and Vegeta's family kind of mushing together, right? And that is why this team is just so stupid. You have 2 Trunks and Vegetas, you have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you have the LR Vegito Blue, you have the 8-year LRs. It's just like, you can literally just make a team off the top row, like, and you're done, right? So you go Trunks and Vegeta, boom, 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 and you just have like a team right there. The links aren't going to be great, but you're going to have a lot of utility and just like invincible units and stuff like that. And what you can also do is come down here and look at some other units, right? Maybe that one didn't work out for you so well. Okay, you could sub in God Goku. You can sub in, who else is on this team? We have World Tournament Goku right here. Like, it's just like you have Superhero Pan you can slide in. Like, there's just a lot of really good units on this team, and it just fits super well because having 2 Trunks of Vegetas is never a bad thing. That just having 2 consistent stacking slot 1 tanks is just stupid, right? Like, the Trunks of Vegeta, like, they're all of these units, like the end game units on this team are viable in literally every event in the game, and it just makes it super, super easy. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. You know, there's not too much I have to say about this team. It's just super good. You guys know this is like a safe mode team. You can't beat an event. Just try the Bond of Parent Child team, see how it goes. So coming in at number 2, this one you could really mix and match between 2 and 1, but overall I just kind of looked at the rosters and I said that this one was number 2. We have Warriors Raised on Earth. Now, Warriors Raised on Earth, the presence of Bulma alone almost pushes this to number 1. And honestly, you could argue it's number 1, right? But I think that the lack of Vegito Blue on this team kind of sets it back a little bit. We don't have, and there's just a couple things that we're missing, right? The lack of Vegetas on this team is kind of what pushes this down a spot for me, but Bulma alone on this, like I said, it just holds this up so well. So it's like you run World Tournament Goku, we have Carnival or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, we have Bulma, Carnival Goku, Piccolo, Carnival. This is Carnival Goku. Yeah, there's 3 Carnival Gokus, guys. I'm sorry. Base form Kai Goku, right? Like in most cases when you're running this team, like literally the worst unit on this team is going to be like Beast Gohan and, you know, Carnival Goku. And when they're the worst units on the team, that's a sign of a really well done team. You have Junior, you have Krillin, you have Bulma, you have Tien, you have World Tournament Goku, we have Jackie Chun for some reason. I don't know why I said Jackie Chun. You got God Goku. We have you know, just so many different options on this team. We have Yamcha. There's a lot. It's like, if you look at the LRs, it's like, okay, you're safe down here too. We have Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku's EZA. We have LR Gohan's EZA. The LR Gobro's EZA if you're on JP. We have, you know, Kaioken Goku. And like some of these units have fallen off a little bit, right? Like Kaioken Goku's obviously not as good as he was. But I'm just saying, like, it's like the worst units on these teams are still like, you know, 6.5, 7s out of 10 in terms of like the ranking scale. So coming in at number 2, I have the Warriors Raised on Earth, the Earthbred Fighters team. You know, you really could flip-flop 1 and 2, and you guys should know who number 1 is. It's Battle of Fate. Battle of Fate right now, I think, is the best team based on the leader skill options that you have, the way you can set up rotations. You know, you have the Vegetas on the team, so it kind of opens up the floodgates a little bit. You want to do short form content? Okay, you have Golden Frieza. You want to do long form content? Okay, we have Stackers. We have Orange Piccolo. We have Beast Gohan for stacking. We have the GT duo. We have the Z duo. We have Blue Vegito. We have the Zamasu rotation that we could run. You know, LR Gohan, LR Cell. LR Cell doesn't really fit on this team. Worst case scenario, you could run him. You have God Goku. You have AGL Zamasu. We have World Tournament Goku, Majunior. It's just, there's so many units on this team that are just beyond busted. We have Trunks' EZA, Zamasu's EZA. Like, almost all of the best units in the game right now on your top 10 list are just on this team alone, right? This guy, top 10. I'm like, obviously, I'm not gonna do like specific rankings, but top 10, 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 top 10. Like, you could argue, like, it's just dumb, right? And then if you want to run these guys as a leader skill, you could fit the 5-year EZAs on here as well. So yeah, they're right here. Look, so there we go. Vegeto's on this team as well. So you can also fit Gogeta on this team because you can run Power Beyond Super Saiyan. So it's like, you know, this team to me, it just overall is the #1 team in the game right now. And it's like, you know, you really could like flip-flop Battle of Fate and Earthbred Fighters just because of Bulma alone. But in my opinion, I think this team works better because what you can just do is go double GT duo and throw Bulma on the team anyway. So I'm going to take this one as the better roster. And I think Battle of Fate right now is the best category in the game. So if you think that Earthbred Fighters is #1 because of Bulma, knock yourself out, right? I think that's a completely fair take, but this is my my categories list. So let's go ahead and recap. At number 10, I have Joined Forces. At number 9, I have Power Beyond Super Saiyan. At number 8, I have Kamehameha. At number 7, I have Pure Saiyans. Number 6, Movie Heroes. Number 5, Last Resort, Final Trump Card. Number 4, Superhero. Number 3, Bond of Parent and Child. Number 2, Earthbred Fighters. And number 1, Battle of Fate. So let me know what you guys think of the list down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you are new and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the ranking lists that I do in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.